So, I think I'm just trying to make a point at this point in the game, and if it gets annoying to you all, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say another day, 7:30 in the morning. It is 45 degrees, if not warmer, like really humid, and yeah, again, middle of February. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep saying this until something gets back to normal, if that's a thing anymore. So I don't know. We're off to go open the high tunnels at 7:30 in the morning, and we're just gonna leave them open all day because it's so freaking warm out. Yeah, anyways, I've got something cool, kind of a follow-up video I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's been a little while since the last time we posted it, but stay tuned right after we get these open. So back in the fall, probably it was late August, maybe September of 2020, we had installed this new irrigation system in our high tunnels to water our winter greens. And I don't think we ever got to the point of explaining how we liked them and what they were about and kind of what they did. So I'm gonna do that today. And just to refresh your memory, these are the Meganet sprinklers. They're really meant and designed for either frost protection, like trying to cool off crops, or irrigation of smaller seeded stuff, if you will. We used them for the months of, I don't know, let's say late August to, I don't know, probably late October, depending on the weather. One really big thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind is that when you're growing and kind of germinating things more and more into the colder months, when the sun's going down, you need less and less water. So I really think these were a great system because, one, it was really easy to set up, and I'll explain why. Two, it gave I'm going to say probably 90% good job of uniform irrigation or watering. And three, it really helped keep that soil in place, keep those really small seeds where they needed to be, and really just gave me a really nice uniform germination over the top. So just a quick thing, it's a little hard to see, but we've got a 1-inch tube down here, if you can see that. And then this is just like a snow stake, if you will. And then this is the tube that the Meganet, the actual head, gets put into. Just goes on this little stake here, just pushes in. And then the only last thing you have are the sprinkler heads themselves. And these come apart, so if you want to clean them or you need to replace them, you name it. But it's a really, really simple system to set up, and I'm still learning, educating myself on, okay, if you have 500 feet of this stuff out, you probably need to be running like a 2-inch main line instead of like a 1-inch, but it's a 72-foot tunnel, so yeah, we don't need a crap ton of water to make this happen. Anyways, so the setup is really easy. So we've got the main line, in this tunnel, we've got these spread out at, I think it's like 20 to 25 feet. And there's a whole chart online of how you're going to set these up, the spacing you need between them, and how wide you're watering. And I think it's the less gallons per minute nozzles are going to require a closer spacing to be able to get that more uniformity. And then your heavier gallons a minute or more gallons per minute, you can go a little wider depending on what's going on. The pros and cons I've learned to doing it with this system and how I set it up is that my biggest issue was my corner edges around the whole tunnel. Really just mainly the corners. The corners here and here. Those were the driest overall, and I noticed overall that our germination in the corners of the tunnels weren't 100%. We had definitely some, not dieback, but just plants, they didn't perform as well. I don't think they didn't get enough moisture. That's what I'm trying to say, to make this happen. So we did a couple things here. So after learning that our outside edges weren't getting watered too well, what we did is we actually decided to upgrade to a more gallons a minute sprinkler head. And what my thought is that this, let me back up. So Meganet sells multiple different sprinkler heads, and this is what the head looks like. This is what it looks like when it's running. It actually, there's a spring in here that pushes it up, and then this spins, and it just shoots consistent water out of 2 ports and just spins continuously. So it's continuously just adding water to the area, instead of like a sprinkler head where it's this is doing a full rotation consistently of constant water being just spread out over the area. And it's very light amounts of water, so it's not like a heavy droplet just falling and dropping in the same constant area. It's very, very light. So I think this gives you a lot of pros. I don't see a lot of cons actually with it. You're gonna get that uniformity. You are not gonna disturb that soil as bad, meaning like a heavier rainfall or heavier irrigation is gonna leave more, you know, droplet marks, if you will, in the ground. And it's just gonna give you that nice uniformity, and you can let this run for, you know, if you're newly seeding and it's a hot day in the fall, and you're really trying to germinate and get that high tunnel soil that's really just been drier all summer. Maybe you had tomatoes or cucurbits in it and you're just spoon feeding the water as needed into it. You can just turn these on, and they use very little. I think, I'm trying to remember, I don't think these say on it. I think this one's like 0.82 gallons a minute or 0.84 gallons a minute. And then the next one up is the green one, which is like 1.54 gallons a minute. And then it jumps up to the blue, and I think they've got like a red and orange, something like that. But they've got like 5 or 6 different heads that give out different gallons a minute. But this is the lightest one. I wanted to try that first because I just wanted to see what it would do. And, you know, honestly, I would go out here and I'd turn it on and I'd just let it run for like 4 or 5 hours some days. And, you know, you're not harming anything. You're just lightly, consistently putting on water. So it's not that crazy. What we are going to try is the next size up, which is the green nozzle, because what I want to do is try to add a little more moisture, not necessarily in a faster time, but just to kind of get more water coming down within that cycle of it spinning. Because I think what I was noticing is those outside edges, they just weren't getting, the rotation of water was so light that the water would fall and then probably evaporate or just dry out in those corners just way faster, just because it was such a light rotation, versus in the middle here where it was getting overlap and it was more centralized or centrally located to the center of that. So we're gonna try it. It could come down to where we need 2 sprinkler heads in here, just because of the width, and it's a learning thing for me. The thing I like about these are, one, is they're very easy to set up. I already said that. But number 2, the cost is just there. It's like cheap. I think to set up both of these tunnels with everything, and I'm talking the header hose, the fittings, pressure regulators, thank you, the snow stakes, the hosing, and this was like maybe $125 per tunnel. It's just like really cheap. I think these are the most expensive part. These are like, I don't know, $750 or something from my supplier. But they're just so simple, and they literally just screw right into this, screw right out. So hey, we need to irrigate one day, let's put the blue nozzle in. Maybe we're irrigating, you know, greens or something in the middle of summer, and we just need that constant heavier moisture to get that into the soil. And then maybe a month later, oh, you know, it's a really hot day, we need to just cool this crop off or something. So we can easily just unscrew this, and then let's grab the yellow one, because this is really good for light moisture over to help cool the crop. So screw these out, throw them in. I haven't tried these in a field setting yet, but I want to. I just feel like for small seeded stuff, and this is so easy to set up, versus like your 2-inch aluminum piping that you gotta plop together, and I don't have to go on about that. This is, you roll out a main line, you throw some staples in some areas. If you have the main line already set up, you know, with all the hosing in it, it's just getting it out in the field, throwing some staples in it, you know, getting your ground stake in and hooking it up to water, like time saving I see here as well. So this is what the nozzle reads. And if you guys are interested in these, you can definitely find them online. We got these at Brookdale Fruit Farm up in New Hampshire, Hollis, New Hampshire. They've got all the supplies there if you need or want to try these out. Next, we're going to try the green nozzles, our sprinkler heads, just to see what those do for us. And we'll give you some feedback on what I think about that. No clue, haven't tried them, but we will get back to you. Have a great day. Enjoy the spring weather if you're getting it too. Pray for some colder winter weather to come. I think we need that. And happy Friday, everyone. Just one little last tidbit that I thought was maybe a cool add-on is I set all this piping up in the fall last year, and I haven't moved it. Pipes had water in it, or the hoses had water in it. I assume these little hoses have had water in them. I've just been unscrewing these, so any moisture in, which it has drained down, any moisture in the hose or in the pipe or the nozzle has kind of just drained down, and we didn't have any issues with freezing or pipes bursting or cracking or anything. So I mean, granted, it's been a very warm winter, but we did have those couple days of just really, really, really cold weather, which, you know, that can just do it. But no issues. So that makes me feel a lot better that I can leave these systems just in place over the winter, when we might need to irrigate, you know, sometime through the dark months, if you will, for some reason. So that's one more cool thing to add.